off. Hopefully we're looking at a wonderful forecast for September the 29th. That is when the Adoption Council of Canada is holding their Adoption Walk. Joining us, the President of the Council, Laura Eggertson. Great to have you here.
Thanks.
This is the first time a walk like this is actually happening here. Is that right?
This is the first time we're holding the AdoptWalk in Ottawa. We've had it for the last 3 years in the Toronto area, but we thought it was time to bring it to the nation's capital.
And we're really talking about two different organizations that are really putting this on. Can you give us a quick kind of look at each of them?
This is a chance for the domestic adoption community and the international adoption community to come together. So we're holding it in partnership with the Children's Bridge Foundation, which represents parents who adopt from overseas.
And then those that are adopting also here within Canada. Can you break down a little bit the numbers? Because when you just mentioned the numbers to me, I was flabbergasted by the number of kids that are still waiting for adoption.
Yeah, I think most Canadians don't know. We have roughly 30,000 children across Canada who are legally free for adoption. They're waiting in foster care for their permanent families, and there's probably close to 70,000 children in care across Canada.
70,000 in care and 30,000 that are looking and are hoping that one day that right person comes into their lives. That was something that you have done. You actually adopted children that were a little bit older.
Yeah, I adopted my daughters. One was 8.5 when I adopted her, and then 5 years later I adopted my second daughter, and she was 9 at the time.
What can I ask your decision into, because this is very different in terms of the experience of a parent of raising a child right from birth or very young, and then taking in a child who's had quite a bit of life experience already, some probably good and bad.
Well, actually, there's most of the kids who are available for adoption are probably 6 and older. We have a lot of young teens and young people who are really anxious for a permanent family. So we're hoping that people will come out to the walk actually on the 29th of September and meet some of these families and learn about people who've adopted older as well as younger and get a real feel for what the experience is like. They have a lot to offer.
People must enjoy the stories. I mean, for you probably see a lot of different reaction and just lives changing because of this process.
Yeah, and we're working a lot with young people to help them speak out and advocate for themselves about the need for a permanent family, but it really does change lives, both parties, the parents and the kids. It's a bit daunting to get kids for the first time when they're older and you haven't kind of gone through those baby years, but they actually can give you a lot of firsts, even though you might not think so. It's first experiences for them too.
There must be stories like that of families that come in and say, look, and this is what we had hoped for, and then their expectations change, and then they take on a new adventure. And so, do you have people that are able to share those stories with people who might be at home saying, listen, this might be somewhere we'd like to?
Yeah, actually, if people come out to Britannia Park on the 29th of September, they're going to meet people who have adopted at all different stages of their lives, some babies, some toddlers, some older children, and there'll be teenagers who've been adopted as well. And there will also potentially be some youth who aged out of the system without a family. So you can sort of get the whole range of experience and talk to families about what it's like.
You know, we were mentioning, even if you're talking about a 14, 15, 16-year-old, that there's always still that hope, and that doesn't leave them, does it?
You know, they need parents just as much as your biological kids would when they're in their teens and their early 20s. They want their kids to have grandparents. They want traditions. They want somebody to come home to for the holidays. It's really very important for them, and they have a lot to offer you. As somebody, we have a great poster from an organization that says you don't have to change our diapers, and we'll help you to program your DVD, so, which is probably even out of date now. I should be saying
you're probably like now into an iPhone or
yeah,
you know, a mobile device. The walk, of course, again is happening from 10 to 3, Britannia Park on Saturday, September the 29th. A ton of information that's available for both different opportunities. If you're going with the Children's Bridge, if you're going with Adoption Canada, AdoptWalk.ca is the website that people want to be able to check.
You can register right on that site.
Perfect, and also, of course, looking for volunteers, for members, for sponsorship, if there's anyone out there that
yeah, we'd love a few more corporate sponsors too. That would be great.
Perfect. Pleasure to meet you, and
Thank
one
you
of your
very much.
daughters as well.